In a move that will shake up the local football scene, Singapore Premier League and it's all changed in the mortgage market, DBS and UOB both raising their fixed home loan rates. It's Tuesday, October 4th. This is The Big Story. I'm Haryanto Diman. Subscribe to the Straits Times channel so you will not miss an episode. In a move that will shake up the local football scene, Singapore Premier League clubs have been told to shut down their jackpot operations by the end of this month. Now, jackpot takings have been the main revenue stream for many of these clubs over the last 2 decades. Currently, 5 out of the 8 clubs here run jackpot machines and are said to generate hundreds of thousands of dollars from these operations. Now, the sudden nature of this decision has upset club officials, as some have recently invested in upgrading their operations. There is talk that clubs will receive increased subsidies for the next few years in lieu of this latest move. With more, sports correspondent Sazali Abdul Aziz. Saz, there's been no official announcement from the authorities yet. What is the likely financial impact on the affected clubs?
I think it's an uncomfortable situation for sure for clubs to quite suddenly be without something which has represented their main revenue stream for such a long time. And for sure, there will be a level of pain or teething issues expected. However, I have to stress that the clubs are not in financial danger. In fact, in the long run, they might be better off. Sources tell us that subsidies for clubs are set to be significantly improved over the next 5 to 8 years as the SPL moves towards privatisation. This privatisation will see the league come under the Unleash the Raw project that aims to get us to the 2034 World Cup. And key to that is a strong, vibrant local league, which is what football administrators hope will be the result of this upcoming shift.
ST understands that the clubs were informed of the change on September 15th, just 6 weeks before operations are required to cease. Why such a sudden move?
Well, in some ways, the writing has been on the wall since 2017 when police raids at 3 clubhouses shocked many in the local scene. Moves were later made to tighten regulations around jackpot operations, and there was word that these operations would be removed altogether at some point down the line. However, there was little indication this would happen before clubs were informed less than 3 weeks ago that their licenses, which were to expire on October 31st, would not be renewed. One club even hired staff that started work on September 1st to manage jackpot operations, but now they will no longer be required.
So, looking forward, Saz, how could the affected clubs find alternative revenue streams?
Well, this has always been an issue for local clubs. Ideally, they ought to try attract sponsors, although sponsorship for local football has been hard to come by, given the current product does not seem very appealing to investors. It's very much a chicken and egg issue. And what administrators are trying to do, as I said, with increased subsidies, is lift standards, create new perceptions of the local game that will encourage sponsors and investors to come in and make a telling long-term contribution to the game.
What are the changes that could be in store for the SPL in the coming months?
Well, one significant change we'll see next season's SPL kick off slightly later in May and last for about 10 months or even slightly more. Typically, the domestic league season runs for about 6, 7 or even 8 months, but the extended season next year is part of Singapore club football's transition to the Asian calendar, which will resemble something we see in Europe from next year. Again, player contracts may have to be renegotiated and additional funding may have to be resourced for this so-called bridging season, and there may be a level of discomfort or pain involved. But overall, I think the changes are for the better and could lead to an exciting future for Singapore football and the SPL.
Thank you so much, Saz, for the insights. Sports correspondent Sazali Abdul Aziz. A hike in the government's healthcare spending of at least $1 billion is on the horizon. Now, it is part of Singapore's shift towards a more preventive healthcare strategy, intervening during one's healthy years instead of after they get sick. Health Minister Ong Ye Kung, speaking in Parliament at the start of the debate on the HEALTHIERSG White Paper today, outlined its key features. Now, they include free screenings for common chronic conditions like type 2 diabetes, hypertension and hyperlipidemia, and 3 cancers: breast, cervical and colorectal. He also spoke about the costs involved.
HEALTHIERSG requires a lot of effort and resources to set up. We need new IT systems, ground support capabilities, give GPs that one-time support for necessary IT enhancements, capability building to bring them on board. So we estimate a setup cost of over $1 billion over the next 3 to 4 years. Beyond that, there will be recurring costs, and this includes all the support measures for residents I talked about earlier, the annual service fee for GPs. This will come up to $400 million per year.
Mr. Ong said that the linchpin of HEALTHIERSG is family doctors, and dedicated doctors whom people are encouraged to consistently go to for their ailments in the long run. As people are encouraged to enroll with a specific GP for preventive and chronic care consultations, Mr. Ong said that there is a need to pay them accordingly.
GPs should be fairly compensated by MOH for their effort and advice in delivering preventive care. MOH, therefore, will extend an annual service fee payment for each resident who enroll with them. This service fee is what we will describe loosely as a capitated payment. This means we do not pay the GP for every consultation, every test, every prescription, and every service they provide. Instead, we pay them this standard fee, which is a base per enrolled patient, and this is for maintaining a long-term relationship with the patient. It will cover regular check-ins, ensuring the resident adhere with his health plans, the associated administrative work, and also reviewing the health plan annually.
Mr. Ong also addressed concerns of certain drugs costing more at GPs compared to polyclinics. He said that under HEALTHIERSG, a new subsidy tier for common drugs to put their prices on par with that of polyclinics will be introduced. Among the various other measures under this strategy, he estimated that the country's healthcare spending will triple to $60 billion in 2030. The White Paper is set to be debated by 28 MPs over issues ranging from GPs' workloads to healthcare inflation. As interest rates continue to climb, affordable housing is of increasing concern. Minister for National Development Desmond Lee telling Parliament that the government will intervene and do what is needed to keep public housing affordable for Singaporeans and ensure the property market is stable.
We will continue to monitor the market closely and adjust our policies as necessary on both housing demand and supply to ensure that prices move broadly in line with economic fundamentals. This government is committed to the stability of the wider Singapore property market and to keeping public housing inclusive, affordable and accessible to Singaporeans.
And speaking of housing, if you are in the market for a new home loan, one thing is clear. The days of ultra-low interest rates are well and truly over. Singapore's largest bank, DBS, has increased the cost of fixed home loan rates to 3.5%, while UOB has launched fixed rate packages at 3.75% and 3.85%. Our senior business correspondent explains what this means for homeowners, especially those looking for a new deal.
For those who are looking for a new mortgage, it really depends whether they are buying a HDB or a private property. If they are buying a HDB, they could just consider taking a HDB home loan, which is currently pegged at 0.1 percentage points plus the CPF ordinary account interest rate, so it's about which is 2.5. So the HDB home loan rate is 2.6%. Alternatively, if they earn less than 2,500 monthly, they can consider the POSB HDB home loan package, which is also pegged at 0.1 percentage points above the CPF ordinary account interest rate. So for the other group who are looking to buy a private property, they can consider between a fixed rate and a floating rate loan. If they have a view that they want more certainty, they are afraid that rates will go higher, then they may want to consider a fixed rate loan. And there are a couple of fixed rate packages in the market right now, from as low as 3.5% to as high as 3.85%, and with different tenures from 2 to 3 to 4 and even 5-year tenures. So alternatively, they can choose a hybrid package, which allows them to take a proportion of the loans in fixed rate packages and the remaining proportion in floating rate packages. Now, if they have a view that a recession is going to happen, that means rates will fall, the Fed may have to cut rates, then they may want to consider SORA for floating rate packages, which are currently in the market.
Now, if you are thinking of saving up for the future, the latest issue of Singapore savings bonds will offer a 10-year average return of 3.21%. That is a record high rate according to data by the Monetary Authority of Singapore. Now, this comes as interest rates are rising around the world. Those are top stories today. Visit straitstimes.com for more news and our YouTube channel for more videos. Subscribe by hitting the red button below. I'm Haryanto Diman. Join us tomorrow for more stories on The Big Story.